The First World War was fought from 1914 to 1918 and was known as the War to End All Wars. The war led to extreme casualties from both sides. 163,000 Frenchmen died along with approximately 143,000 Germans. The number of wounded was twice the deaths, but was demeaned by the millions who were crippled. Germany's territory was reduced by 13%, and Germany was forced to accept full responsibility for starting a world war and suffered from it by paying substantial reparations. To too many, including Adolf Hitler, it seemed like the country got stabbed in the back and betrayed by submersives, both at home and by the government, who accepted the armistice, a pre-signed truce ending the onslaught at a specific time. Adolf Hitler started gathering followers by preaching what he believed, and was then later imprisoned for trying to overthrow the government. With his trial bringing him fame and followers, he decided to write a book while he was caged, including all his political ideas and despotism. After Hitler was released, his party organized a newspaper, spreading the message and some intentions. Having a different approach the second time around, he proved to be a charismatic campaigner and gained broad support, mainly by the ones suffering from the World War I repercussions. In 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg invited Hitler to serve as chancellor in a coalition government. Hitler's party wanted to radically transform Germany, and Germany needed it. At least they thought they did. The conservative politicians didn't like Hitler, and neither did they trust him, but they disliked democracy even more. Thinking they could control him, they reached out and offered to build the majority in parliament. This was another opportunity Hitler saw and jumped at it. 1 month later, the parliament building was set ablaze. Hitler and his coalition partners seized the chance and blamed the communists for the fire, declaring emergency rule, which Hindenburg agreed to and signed. Their first move was to target their political opponents, leaders of trade unions, opposition parties, and leftist members. All these people were sent to newly established concentration camps. Due to the recent harsh times such as the Depression, Germans supported these actions seeking change in order. Although Hindenburg stayed president till he died, Hitler, by agreement with the army, stepped up and took responsibility, leaving no authority above or beside him. Along with many other projects, Hitler was starting his corruption scheme, which was mainly to eradicate all Jews. People with disabilities were deemed as unworthy of life, and races such as Jews, Slavs, blacks, and Roma were labeled racially inferior. Excluding them from public schools and eliminating most opportunities for them to make a living, it was getting harder for them to keep a healthy lifestyle. Posters deeming that Jews were satanic were hung all over. There was even a designated cart in the parades, directing people's hate on antagonizing the Jews, demonizing them. Once the public started leaning over to anti-Semitism, they started vandalizing their businesses, homes, and churches, burning down over 250 synagogues. Taking it a step further, they gathered them into ghettos and concentration camps, releasing them only if they agreed to immigrate, which was also made fairly difficult for them. Fearing what would happen next, the Jews sent their children away to other countries, alone. They could not know how soon the world would be at war. In the time frame of around 2 years, the German armed forces attacked Poland, Denmark, Norway, France, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Paris. In June 1941, with more than 3 million soldiers, Germany invaded the Soviet Union to wage a war of annihilation that targeted tens of millions of civilians. Having the Jews in fenced blocks known as ghettos, secluded from non-Jews, the German army, military SS, and German police units participated in authorized mass murders, rounding up victims and driving them to killing sites where they were stripped of clothing and then shot. At least 2 million men, women, and children were killed in these mass shooting operations. The Germans deported roughly 2.7 million Jews and others from all over Europe to killing centers in German-occupied Poland, promising them better living and jobs. And that's where the continuous onslaught of German forces burned its way into each and every witness's mind, including the ones feeding the fire, if they were willing to accept it or not.